Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you may be around the globe. You know, it's certainly a beautiful day outside. And I hope that you're not only enjoying your day, but also, this brand new start to a brand new year. That's what's important. You have a brand new start. You have time to really sit there and think about writing your book and getting it done. Because what we've been talking about, the theme for this month is maximizing your potential. Maximize your potential. And that means to take everything that you have inside of you and make it work for you. Make it work for you. Because I believe that you have everything that you need to get this job done, to get it done, and stop leaving money on the table. And with that being said, let me introduce myself. I'm Gertrude J. Chapman, your number one inspirational book coach. And I teach you how to do just that. Maximize your potential, stop leaving money on the table, and write your book. Write your book where it doesn't have to be complicated, that it could be, flow from you, that, you could save money. A lot of times people they write a book and then they wind up losing money because they're not doing it the right way. They have books that just sitting there in the boxes in the corner of a garage with that precious message that it had inside of them, that they translated into a book, and they wanted to get to their audience, but something happened along the way. And we could teach you how to do just that, how to get your book out there where people could benefit from your message. And with that being said, let me introduce to you my co-host, Tiffany.
Great morning, everyone. I'm super grateful to be here. Grateful to be here in the land of the living. Let me say it that way. I am Tiffany Rochelle. I am an author. I'm a heart coach, and I'm a speaker as well. And I help to encourage women to rid the toxins of their hearts. And to set goals that are true to themselves. And I believe out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. So we want to just make sure that those toxins are out of your heart. And so we're able to be effective individuals, and we're not speaking evil from our hearts because we're still upset and angry. And everyone that we encounter is affected by past trauma, that we'll be able to go ahead and talk, and we'll be able to be those loving individuals. I think we definitely could use a little love nowadays. There's a lot of love that we could see. So we can definitely spread that around. So I also, again, I wrote a book because I'm an author. I am, the book is called I Choose Me. I kind of keep it right over there on the side and you can get that on Amazon. And then our website scrolls, or for both of us, our websites scroll down there. So we both have written books. You'll be able to obtain our materials and any of the courses that we do by logging on to one of those links that are at the bottom of that's scrolling down at the bottom. And I also will be putting it in the comment section. So that'll be easy for you just to go ahead and click and go. So that'll be super beneficial for us. But make sure you utilize us. If there's anything that we're saying to you that is beneficial in this particular broadcast, please, please, please feel free to share it on your pages so that someone else also may be impacted just as much as you were by this broadcast, or feel free to tag them in the comment section. But please, at the top of the show, we asked, how are you doing? So we would love to know how you're doing. Let us know in the comment section. Also, if there's any questions or concerns, the comments are going to be your best friend. That's how we hear your voice. So if you will, again, utilize that comment section. It will be greatly appreciated to us. And so I am going to go ahead and turn it back over to our lovely host, Miss Gertrude. And we're going to start turning your passion into profit.
Yes, turning your passion into profit. That's so very important. Good morning, Janelle. Good morning, Regina. Thank you for joining us today. It's such a great day, when we have our audience members out there. And I know that y'all may have questions. So, drop your questions in that comment, because, a lot of times people go back and they look at the shows, the replays, and, this could help them. They look at it and they see your questions, and maybe they have a question that's similar to what you have a question about, and you don't know how much that impacts them and help solve their problems, because we all problem solvers. And we like this, broadcast to be more about, our audience, because this is what it's about, answering the questions that our audience are asking. So this is very important to us. So go ahead and drop those comments in the comment section. And like Tiffany said, our information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And when we talk about um, dreaming of being a published author, a lot of times, Tiffany, people have dreamed about being a published author. And sometimes, they're just sitting back because they think that time has passed, or things are going on in their lives. But I want to encourage you, it's time to dream again. Okay, it's time to dream again. Don't just think that dream is dead, because it's not. It's still there. Okay, it's still there. Just pick up from where you left off, and just start dreaming again. And we're going to talk to you about giving you some tidbits, some things that you could do to jumpstart the things that you have inside of you. Because I know that there's a fire, Tiffany. There's a fire burning inside of those authors who have not written those books. Okay. And they sitting there and they say, oh, it's too late for me, or maybe I don't have time, or whatever that situation may be. But there is time. Don't ever think that you don't have time, or your time has passed, or anything of that nature, because all of us are running our own journey, and we on our own time clocks, and we can't compare ourselves to other people, but we can certainly get those things accomplished. So at this brand new year, let's start off with a positive attitude, that I can make it, that I can do it, that it will get done. And put forth your best effort. Put forth your effort. Action. Actionable things. And on these broadcasts, we're going to give you actionable steps to give you an easy win, so you can complete those things that you need to complete in this season, because somebody is waiting on you. Somebody is waiting on your answer. You might say, well, Gertrude, they don't even know me. But that's how important you are. That's how important you are. You have solutions to many, many people's problems. And it all lies inside of you. Inside of you are many, many seeds, okay? Many seeds that need to be planted in somebody's life in order for them to begin to flourish, in order for them to grow, in order for something to get jump started in somebody's life. There's many, many seeds that are planted inside of you. And you have to choose, this, and Tiffany, this is the choice. People have to choose. They have to see themselves in a different way. And they have to choose to write that book, because this is very important, y'all. This is very important. If you just think about how much impact that you have on somebody's life that could change their life forever, not only their life, but also their family's life, also generations, generations. And if you
Mhm.
think about that, you would sit back and say, my,
Yeah. It's
my, how
it's
much power lies within me.
Absolutely. It is amazing when you realize the potential that your words have and how it impacts someone. I was just talking to an individual this morning, and I kid you not, transparent moment. It had tears in my eyes because I just really met them. Um, and okay, I'm not going to be a brat, and I'm not going to be the super sap, especially on the inner of the nets and the TVs. But it really brought tears to my eyes for me to hear how much I meant to them already in this little bit of time that we have been able to interact with each other. And I kid you not, it meant a whole lot. And I was just like, wow, this is impactful. Just to know, hey, you mean a lot to me. Thank you for using words. You're encouraging me and you're doing this. And I'm sitting here going like, I'm doing this to you. Wait, me? And as I'm reading the words that they're saying to me, I'm sitting here going like, you have no idea that this is like the hand in my back pushing me. So I appreciate you for being a cheerleader to me, because this is kind of encouraging me to go on, and it's
Mm-hmm.
encouraging to keep the material going, to keep saying what I have to say. But it's just really beneficial when people
Yeah.
share their story of how you've done something for me. It's beautiful. So it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It is certainly beautiful. That's why, audience, always drop your comments,
Yeah.
in here, or even, the links below that's scrolling across the screen, because it goes to, there's a section there where it could go to my email. I guess
Mhm.
Tiffany may have hers on her
Okay.
website too.
Mhm.
And let us know, let
Mhm.
us know, because this is something that, it does something to us when you're being satisfied, when you're getting those answers, when
Yeah.
you having those wins in your life, that is
Mhm.
something that does something to
It
us,
does.
and I'm speaking for myself. I love to see people win. I love to see people reach their goals. I love to see people, be successful. I
Yeah.
love it. It just does something to me.
Mhm.
I want
Yeah.
I want to shout it and tell their story for them, and I know
Oh,
I can't, but it does something to you.
it
It really,
does.
really does something to you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when the light
It's
bulb comes on in somebody's life.
yeah, it's beautiful. I
Yeah,
kid you not. And again, it's when they share it that matters
yeah,
the most, because you'll never know until they say something. And it's just like, okay,
yeah.
I think I might say, even like when we're talking in here, we'll see the hearts and the likes and stuff like that. That's great.
Hmm.
And that's still encouraging also. But then when you actually hear them and they take an opportunity to transition how they're feeling and put it into words, oh my God.
Hmm.
So I thank those authors, because
Yeah.
even at that time they're being an author because they're using their words, and they're able to help us.
Hmm.
So thank you.
Yeah. It's so
Thank
true. And yes,
you.
Janelle, it is beautiful. And we are a winner. Yes,
Mhm.
we are winners. We are not
Yeah.
losers. We are winners. And
Yeah.
that's having that positive mindset to know
Mhm.
that we are winners. And we
Yeah.
win all the time. We
Mhm.
win all the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes the like we said, this is the writing journey. Sometimes it seems like it's going in a different way, but
Mhm.
that's okay. We are winners. It always go
Mhm.
back,
Yeah.
to the place, the path that we have to go on. It
Mhm.
always seemed to go back to that path.
Mhm.
Sometimes, we, I won't say stray off, or there's detours. Put it that way, Tiffany. Sometimes there's detours, but on those detours, we pick up something that we could add to that journey, that writing journey. It's so powerful. But dream if you dreamed of being a published author, you could dream again. You could bring your book to life. Bring your book to life, because inside of us, we are full of life. And we talked about on previous broadcasts how we can't separate ourselves from the vision, okay? We cannot separate ourselves from the vision. And we cannot separate our books from us. So, bringing our books to life and to breathe life through our message in that book. And that comes to the first talking point, Tiffany, not having enough material. Sometimes people think, well, I don't have enough material to write a book. But how much is enough material? If you think you don't have enough material, there's ebooks. Okay, it doesn't have to be in a printed book. It could be an ebook. You know, and an ebook, you don't have to. You A lot of times people say, well, how many pages should an ebook cover? Well, an ebook, you got to get the message across. Okay. However many pages it takes to get that message across, that's how many pages for that ebook. But I'm gonna tell you, nobody want to read a 200 a page ebook or a book. Nobody want to read a 500-page book, because what, we all live in busy lives. We don't have time. We want to get to the point. Okay, we want to get that problem solved. A lot of times people think they got to write a big book. Those big thick books. Now, come on, Tiffany. We don't have time to read those books. That's gonna take a while. That's gonna take a while. Yeah, girl. Mm-mm. No. We
And
can't
what's
do that.
funny,
Not in this
what's
we can't
this
do
one
that.
has, it has 300 and it has 385 pages in it. It's
How many?
385. It's a good book though. I will say it's a good book, but it's a thick one.
Oh no.
It's a thick one.
It's a
So
thick book. But you see that book could have been broken up.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm,
It could have been broken up, into different segments and things. And then a person would be easy, it'll be easier for that a person to digest it, as opposed
right.
to that, and they thinking, okay, now I got to read this book. Oh, I know I need to read this book, but blah blah blah. Make it easy for people to digest, because again, we live in busy lives. And when people say, well, I don't have enough material, how about journaling and the daily lives and all those things they could take into consideration. These are some easy steps. These are some easy things that people could do to gather that material and tapping into themselves. That's another thing, because we have a well that never runs dry. Never, never. So you always have more than enough material.
Mhm,
More than
mhm.
enough material. But please don't write that 200-page book. Please don't write that 385-page book or 500-page book. Break it up into
Mhm,
digestible
mhm,
pieces.
mhm,
Digestible. That is the key.
mhm,
Digestible. Because after you
mhm,
finish reading that book, it's going to take a while, because you can't sit there and read it all in one day.
mhm, mhm. Right. That's
Digestible. Give people easy wins.
you
Yeah,
said make it a
easy wins.
series.
Let them get to Yeah, let them get to that. Let them get to
Mhm,
what they need quick, because
mhm,
that's
mhm.
another reason why your audience authors are looking for condensed information, because of course they probably could get some stuff off the internet. They can't get all the answers off the internet. Okay, you're expert in your field, so they're looking for condensed information. They're looking for it in a book, because they don't have time to search the internet. So if you're writing a book, make it easy for them to get that information, so they could go on to their next point, their next step. Don't bore them, you know?
Nobody wants to be bored. Nobody ever wants to
Yeah.
be bored. 'Cause that is not, I know I was making reference to a book once before that I haven't finished reading because I have like a stack of books that's over here. Um, and it's not like how you said that you got your books in a collection in a box over there sitting in a corner. But I do have a
Uh-huh.
collection of books over here. There is one particular book that I just can't finish. And it's not that big of a book either. I mean, it's a fairly decent size, but it's not something that's super overwhelming. But this particular one that I just showed you with the 300 pages, that one's very interesting and it's keeping my attention versus that other one. I was just like, yeah, I might have gotten into chapter 2. And that's about it. But there is so much material that's inside of you, and because it it needs to be shared. And even if you start reading other authors' books and stuff, that gives you material also, because you have no idea. One person's title could just open up a whole world for you, and that could just be something completely beneficial for you, and you never know what's happening. And then there's a lot of stuff that we have that's our issues. I won't say issues, but there's just certain things that we have been through in life, that we just don't realize we can make that material. There's a lot, like you said, there is a whole well that's inside of us, and we have a lot to say and we have a lot to share. And continuously share it. For me, matters of the heart is what's concerning for me. But you have no idea. I don't say it just one thing. There's so many different ways that you could flip that and you could turn that, and it's always something that's
Yeah.
always ever exploring in regards to that. So there's always enough material. So you just have to come to the conclusion. You have to shift your mind, and we have to stop putting the negative things saying that we can't do something or there isn't enough, because there is enough. It's just sometimes you have to believe in yourself enough to know that I am enough and I have enough. And by the time you start sharing certain things, you'll realize, oh, I got some more to share. Wait a minute. And after you share that, you might read that and realize there's more to share from that too. So it's like sometimes you just have to start. And by the time you
Yeah.
start sharing what material you do have, it evolves from there.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I know Janelle said we having technical difficulties. Yes, ma'am, we are. Tried everything, tried everything. I don't know what's going on. You might hear noise in the background because I'm having some renovations over here and stuff like that. But we're trying. We're trying to get it out to you because I even, I'm on a whole different computer. Um, I don't know. We just have to, I guess, keep going because we will not stop. We have to be consistent. We will not stop. So we have to work through these things.
Mhm.
Have to
I
work
see it.
through these
It's
things.
just blinking.
Uh, Especially when things are out of our hand. Huh?
I said I'm seeing it because I also have it on my I have the live over here working, so then it'll just blink on and it says the service was or not service, church girl and me. The broadcast was interrupted, but it comes back in, so it just blinks out and comes back.
Yeah, it comes back in. It comes back in. But we have to keep on working through, y'all. We have to keep on working through. Cannot give up. And these are some things that you have to keep doing, especially when things are, not in your control. Not in your control. But things that we can control, you know what I mean? We gotta we gotta go and get those things. Here's another thing people say, oh, it's in my head. It's in my head. A lot of times people have books in their heads. Okay, they have materials in their heads, and what you have to do, you have to begin start writing those things down. Write them down. And is it really in your head or in your heart? Because we talked about that before. We talked about that before. Getting those things out of your heart. Sometimes they say it's in my head. And in the head is a whole bunch of confusion, a whole bunch of stuff. But when it's in your heart, that's the thing that matters. And sometimes it may seem hard to translate things from your heart, but if you take time and sit down and write and just begin writing the best way you can, to try to get it out of your heart, it makes a whole lot of difference. Okay, it makes a whole lot of difference because the key thing is getting it out of you and getting it down on paper. That's the first step. Okay, don't be discouraged with that. Sometimes I've heard people say, well, when I had it, inside of me, they always say their head. They've always pointed to, I had it in my head, but when I started, trying to write it down, it was difficult. It was difficult for me. But the thing is, to keep going, to keep writing, regardless, to keep writing, and then you begin to as you writing it down, you'll begin to go back over it. And that's a part of setting the goals. That's a part of writing down your goals and different things. You'll begin with your message, getting it out of your heart or out of your head, whatever you may call it. You'll begin to see it take form. You'll begin to see it take shape. But just don't give up and say, well, I just can't get it. It's just not making sense. Because at first it may seem like it's not making sense, but as you work at it, it will make sense. It will make sense.
Uh-huh.
So
There's a
it,
lot of stuff that
Tiffany, a lot of times this is what happens to people.
yeah, they got to get out of their head though. But what's in their head is stopping them from writing. But it's sometimes it's worse. So we have, I guess you could say, sometimes those cluttered thoughts. Sometimes our thoughts are speaking faster than what we can write down. And so even if you have those moments where you're what's in your head, you can't write it down fast enough. I'll at least speak for me. Sometimes I have racing thoughts and I already know what's getting ready to go on. So I always keep a notepad and paper,
Yes, I
always
know that.
close to me. But in those moments where I'm like, okay, you know what, that's a valid point. I got to get out of my head. So I'm putting that there, but then I'm like, I got to get out of my head because everything that's inside of my head is, I have a whole thought. I'm thinking faster than I can write. But to not discourage myself, I have this wonderful feature on my phone, which is a voice memo. Have it on tablet as well. Utilize that so you're at least getting it out of your head. Because the unfortunate thing is, we're going to
Mm-hmm.
feel like our brain is that great, that it's going to remember that knowledge, that those thoughts that we had. Oh, that was so good. I'm going to remember it. And 5 seconds later, the TV could be on, a knock at the door, or you'll go out to the store and you're like, what was I thinking about? What was something that, write it down or voice memo it so you can at least get it out. If your thoughts are racing more so than your hand can write, use that memo so you can at least get it out and you can allow the process to start versus just keeping it all in you, and then you're going to forget because life happens. And so the unfortunate thing is, as powerful as that thought might have been, as great as that thought might have been, life happens and you're going to forget. I'll be looking for my keys and don't know what I did with them. But and then I'll have a squirrel moment and then I'm off to going to do something else. It happens. It's just the way of life is what we do. But get what's in
Mm-hmm.
your head out on paper or put it in a voice memo note
Yeah.
to be helpful. Yeah.
And that's true, huh? That's true.
Hmm.
Back in the day, you jot it down shorthand, and back in the day, they called it shorthand.
Oh,
Sometimes you have to
hmm.
jot down those things real quick, and go back.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
those are those key things. I look at those as keys. Now
Hmm.
those are little key things. You might
Hmm.
jot them down. Maybe there's little five, six, seven things you jot down, but each of
Hmm.
those things are key things. Each of those things
Yeah.
could be what, a chapter or
Yeah.
pages or whatever. Just
Hmm.
write down
Hmm.
those key things.
Yeah.
It's so important. But yeah, get it out of your head.
Hmm.
It's important to get it out of your head.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
but
That's
don't be
fun.
discouraged, audience. Don't be
Hmm.
discouraged.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
shorthand. Writing notes in school. I wonder, like, even some of the younger generation. I mean, it's not like I'm super old myself, but do they have to take notes anymore? Do they know how to take like real quick shorthanded notes? Like, let me just go ahead and get this part out. And then once you go back and read it, it may jog your memory. Like, I just thought about that. That might be something we have to teach them too, as far
Hmm.
as like as writing. That's something that's needed. Like, you'll know how to do that so you can go back to it.
Yeah. It's something that, yeah, do they really do that? Or do they
Uh-huh.
use technology and stuff like that? Do they use
Hmm.
technology? You have to get things out of your mind. You can't leave everything in your mind. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, this old school. Okay. Write it down. Things that you write down, you'll remember. But when you don't
Hmm.
write it down, because what?
Hmm.
When you write things down, that's what would you call that? That's a recorder for your brain. When you write it down, you'll
It
remember that,
is.
as opposed to overloading your brain, overloading your mind, because we have a lot of things that thoughts in our mind. I won't say run through, but we have a
Mhm.
lot of thoughts, because we have to choose how we present ourselves and say certain things, so we don't
Mhm.
let idle thoughts run through our minds. You know we you know we allow, we discipline our minds, put it that way. We discipline our minds to not
Mhm.
allow idle thoughts to run through our minds, and
Sure.
different things like that.
Sure.
So write those things down. Yeah, we have to unload this and write them down.
Mhm.
And other things, like the negative things, like what we talked about yesterday morning, about the negative thoughts,
Mhm.
replacing those with positive affirmation, power, talking to
Mhm.
ourselves and different things of that nature. So
Mhm.
that's why it's so important when we have these things, uh, titles to our books, or little things that are that will enhance our books, to write it down.
Mhm.
Do not
Mhm.
allow it to stay in your head, but write it
Mhm.
down. Make it
Mhm.
plain, and then go
Mhm.
back, and then from there, you see, we making this journey easy for you. A lot of times people they get confused. They don't know how to write a book. They don't know how to do. We making it easy for you. We dropping some tidbits in this morning to tell you how to overcome certain things that you may be facing, because that's one of the keys. Write it down, get it out your head. Thank you for joining us this morning, somebody from the YouTube side. Thank you for joining us. We're glad that you're here, that you took time out of your busy schedule to be with us today on Turning Your Passion into Profit morning show. But that's a major key right there, Tiffany. Getting things out of your head. You got to get them out of your head. You know, Dreaming of being a published author. Bring your book to life. Breathe life in your book.
I hope I'm
Take
saying the
down
name
those
right. It's
book.
Tildy Maddie. I think that's
Yeah,
the
I think
name,
that's what
Tildy
it
Maddie.
is.
I think I'm hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, Tildi. I know for sure the other name is Maddie. So great morning.
Maddie. Okay. Good morning. But yeah, those are important steps, getting it out of your head, getting it out of your head. But those little things that's in your head, those are key things that your audience should know about. They coming to you. They should know about. And a lot of times, like we said, a lot of times, Tiffany, people will forget those things. They won't, they try to hold it to memory, but they'll forget those things. Here's another one. No time. People say they have no time. Always keep a notepad or a notebook. This is something that's discipline. It requires discipline, okay? If you dreamed of being a published author, it requires discipline. You have to make time. You make time for everything else that you say is important. If your book is important, if your message is important, make time. Discipline yourself to have that time. And that's a part of, when we talked about on yesterday, goal setting, you know, setting those goals, setting some time aside, to write your book, to get those messages out of your head, to get your mind right, even before you start, to write your goal, to write your plans, because each book has a goal. Each book, has a goal, and you have to write your plans down, because in order to reach those goals, you have to have a plan. You know, who's the best audience for your message? You have to make time. We have to stop living like everything is, how we said it yesterday, Tiffany, spontaneous. And make time, sit down, and allow yourself, discipline yourself to do the things that you said that you want to get accomplished. Do them. Just don't think about doing them. Actually do them. It's one thing to start, but it's a great thing to finish. It's a great thing to finish. And what
And
are
not
we on
only
day
finish,
four,
finish strong.
2022? Yeah.
Day 4. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Day four.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Definitely
you
day
have
4.
lots of time.
Mm-hmm. We have nothing but time. And
They can get
there's
those
24
goals.
hours in a day.
Yeah.
So make use of those 24 hours in a day. You definitely have to make use of those. You've already gotten you some sleep, but this goes back to what we always talk about, is making sure you have a plan. Because if you have a plan in place, there is time within that time frame. Because if you plan out what you're supposed to do or what it is that you have to do today, there is time. You just have to make it. You'll make time if you want to go deal with your boo. You'll make time if you want to go and see your friends. You make time to go to basketball games, music games, or whatever it is. You make time for what you want to make time for. Take some time to make your life better. And this is going to be another stream of income if you're doing it for a book wise. This will be another. So make time to make some money. These are, you feel like you may be scatterbrained. By the time you start writing some of this stuff down, you'll get some of that out, and it's going to help you be able to live a whole lot better because you're getting what's in your head out on paper, and it's going to help your time flow a whole lot more because you got them racing thoughts. They're out of there. So you don't have to worry about having that stuck in there no more. You have time. It's just where you allot your time, or what you want to do with your time is what matters. If you always want to hang out, then that's why you don't have any time. If you're always wanting to watch TV, that's why you don't have any time. Normally when you're at work, you work anywhere between 8 and 10 hours out of the day, sometimes 12. But then even after that, you still have a small frame of time that you can get some of this stuff out, or utilize your off days. It's what you do with your time. You have time. It's just how you use it is what matters.
How you do. Yeah. That's so important. I always say this. People watch TV. There's nothing wrong with watching TV. Actors have already made their millions. Okay? It's a mindset thing. Make your millions. There's no lack in this world. There's no lack in this world. They've already made theirs. Stop living through somebody else's life and live your life. Live your life. Many times people even live their life. They're trying to live their life through somebody else, somebody who they see on the screen acting, some sports person, somebody that they see on social media. But live your life. Make time for your life. You make time for everything else. Make time for your life and live your life. Yesterday we talked about being present. You have to be present. Dream of becoming a published author. Be present. Do the things that matter to you. Do the things that's going to change your life. Do the things that's going to bring you closer to your dream and to accomplish your dream. Living through other people's lives and trying to satisfy things that maybe there's holes in a person's life. Maybe there's something that they're trying to compensate for. On the other hand, because of a lack situation or a rejection situation or a situation of abandonment, but live your life. Stop trying to compensate for that. Live your life. Bring your book to life. Allow other people's lives to be changed through that message, through whatever you have gone through, or through your knowledge, whatever it may be. Because inside of you, like I said, there are seeds. There are seeds waiting to be planted in somebody's heart to change another person's life, to change not only their life, but their family's life, and also for generations. That's how much power you have inside of your message. And it's a great responsibility. So make time. Make time, because you are very important. You're not just somebody that's existing. You are very important. And what you have is very important. And this is bringing us right into this next one. It says fear of rejection and, self-rejection. Because sometimes people reject themselves because they think that, who wants to hear what I have to say? Who wants to hear it? There's many people out there that want to hear what you have to say. Okay? There's many people. Just like I just said, you are somebody and you are very important and you are full of seeds. Just like I think that is a papaya, not papaya. What is that called? It starts with a P. I can't think of it. It'll probably come to me. It's full of seeds, many seeds. And just think, you have
a few of them.
Papayas on the
like
inside
that.
of you.
Kiwis is like that.
Not a, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot this particular thing. I can't think of it. I can't think of it right now.
Sure.
Uh,
Mm.
I'll think of it another time, probably after
Take
the
your time.
show go off. But for you as an author, to think of how much impact you have, that you can impact people's lives from everything that you have inside. People don't really know themselves. But if they take, and this goes back to we were saying, not having time, take some time away from the TV, take some time away from, just having idle time, just lounging around. Okay, there's only so much lounging you could do, y'all. There's only so much lounging you could do. And plant seeds, write that book and get that message out there. And from there, a lot of times, Tiffany, what we talked about, I guess earlier on, like, last year, how people say, well, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that. Everything that you need is inside of you. The reason why you don't have money is because you're not maximizing your potential. You're not using the seeds that are inside of you to plant in somebody else's life. Because though it's an exchange, it's an exchange, seed time and harvest, right? You can't get away from that. You can't get away from that. You have everything that you need inside of you to bring change to your life. To bring change. There's no lack. There is no lack whatsoever. It's all a mindset. It's all a mindset. So don't fear rejection. And it's more than fear and rejection. It's a self-rejection. People begin to reject themselves, seeing themselves a certain way. But I want you to see yourself a different way. I want you to see yourself as somebody that has a great message on the world stage to change people's lives. See yourself as important. You are important. I don't care what people have told you in the past. I don't care what your parents have told you. I don't care what your siblings have told you. I don't care what your family has told you. You are somebody. You are important. You're not an afterthought. You are important. And you have a purpose. So, somebody's waiting for your message. So now it's time for you to step forward and do what you have, said that you were going to do. Write your book and get it out there to touch other people's lives.
I think if you'll wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and start appreciating you and see who you are and speak certain stuff to yourself. We make reference to having affirmations in the morning. Some of us may not know what affirmations are or realize the power of positive words that we speak to ourselves. I believe if we start using the mirror effect, as in having individuals around us that can mirror what they see in us, especially the people that see positive in us sometimes when we don't see it, the individuals that we have around us and the things that we say to each other, or say to ourselves, rather, I should say, that definitely matters. And that helps us to overcome the fear, because more likely than not, what we believe, as they say, fear is false evidence appearing real. What we are thinking isn't really a truth, because it's just really a mirage. So I really believe that I'm not, I know I'm a winner, and I know that I got greatness inside of me. So I know it. So why am I allowing something that's a mirage to stop me from being the great individual I am? So I believe if we will go to a mirror, or we will surround ourselves with individuals that can speak life into us, that will help us to ward off that fear or that self rejection that we're doing, so that we'll be able to become those actors that we see on the TV or going to the movie screens. Because there's a lot of us that do have that. To a degree, we do live our lives through that individual, because I see them, they may be portraying that on the TV or through a movie, that sometimes, depending upon how we look at it, that can give us the motivation and the courage to kind of go ahead and do it. Well, if she can dress like that, especially if you got a cute shape, if she can dress like that, oh, I can too. I seen a little TV show. I want to call it, it wasn't Harlem. I don't remember what it was. Girls Run the World or Run the World, Run the House, Run something. But they were in Harlem, and one of the girls that was on the show, she likes to dress. I don't want to call it provocative, but she was very comfortable and confident in any and everything that she put on. As soon as she put that thing on, I mean, she had her chest out, and she had this confidence about her. And sometimes I really appreciate sometimes when we're able to
Mm-hmm.
watch the TVs. Um, and we see certain people on there. I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
them. However, sometimes they give me the courage to want to go ahead and do those. One of my I have two favorite singers, really more so Mary J. Blige is my secular artist that I absolutely love. You can't say anything bad about her because she's just super awesome. But as far as I believe one of them that has she has this Beyonce has this sex appeal to her, and there's just this beauty and there's this confidence that she portrays, and she has the beautiful figure and what she says, and she's so pretty, long gold hair. It's just this aura that she exudes. I understand why we want to emulate them. I still don't want to be her, but there's certain qualities that she portrays that makes, you know what, I can do that. I do want to be that. So I appreciate people who are comfortable and confident in themselves. Once I see them like that, that kind of gives me the courage and the confidence to say, like, I know I have that in me. So I am going to also let me go ahead and institute that. But then when I look at myself in the mirror, I can start saying I love me. I can start saying that I'm worthy. I can start saying that I'm important, that I mean something, that I'm beautiful, that I'm smart, I'm powerful, I have wisdom, I'm worth it, I am somebody. Once we start saying that, that self rejection goes away and there's no more fear. And there's no reason for me to fear because I know who I am. But sometimes we just need to see ourselves saying it so that we'll be able to believe it. What I know is one thing I guess to know. I know and knowing and believing can kind of whatever. But it's like I know I am. But once I really start believing it, oh, it's a powerful thing. So I mean, I'm going to get rid of that mirage because that's all it
Mm-hmm.
is, and I'm going to start living out who I know I am because I believe who I am.
Yeah, that's true. When you said there's a difference between knowing and believing. That's it. You know it, but you gotta believe. Because if you don't believe it, it's not gonna work. You know, it's not gonna work. Gotta believe, believing. Yes, believe. You know, when we talk about dreaming of being a published author, that's another thing. We're gonna put that in there. Believing. You have to believe it. You have to believe it that your book will impact lives, and that it's very powerful, and that brings us into dealing with insignificance. Dealing with insignificance, and the first question there that I want the audience to chime in on. The first question: when you're dealing with insignificance, when you're dealing with not seeing yourself as someone who's important, just think of it this way and answer this question. What can I give? What can I give? And if y'all
What
don't
can I
mind,
give?
yeah, share that in the comments.
Put that in
What
the
can I
chat.
give?
Hmm.
Good morning,
Hmm.
Nanji and Christina. Good morning.
Hmm.
Thank you for joining us today. What can I give? Sometimes people, they see themselves. I know we talked about that with the other topic, and it ran into that. They see themselves as being insignificant. But take time out to get to know who you are. And as you see, it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen with the Linktree online book coach. I have a book that's called Unapologetically You, a 30-day transformation to winning. And you could get it on that link. It's one of those links on that online book coach. And it'll tell you how to tap into yourself, how to know your true identity, because that's very important. Knowing your true identity. A lot of times people don't know who they are. And if you don't know who you are, just like you were saying with believing, you can't believe. But once you know who you are, and once you believe that you are that person that you are, designed to be, there is no stopping you. There's no stopping what you can do. There's no stopping what you can accomplish. You'll feel different about yourself. It's not who people have hoped for you to be or want you to be or have said, well, you're this and you're that. No, it's you knowing who you are. And you don't have to apologize to anybody. And once you reach that point where you know who you are and you don't have to apologize to anybody, it's sweet. It's sweet from there on. You could walk in that power, you could walk in that authority, and you could be unapologetic. You don't have to, um, how would we say, dim your light. I think that's what Regina used yesterday. She gave us that phrase, dimming your light. You won't dim your light for nobody. You'll allow your brilliance to come forth. You'll allow your brilliance to come forth through your message in order to write your message, to start that momentum going. That momentum is that churning up, okay, that you need to get your book from out of your head until it's in the bookstores, or on that platform. It's out there selling. It's there, touching people's lives. And you don't have to apologize for who you are. A lot of times people, they deal with that insignificance because they don't know who they are. Tiffany, they don't know. But once they know who they are, there's no stopping them. No stopping them whatsoever.
At all. At all. And if you don't know who you are, there's links in the comment section for you to get in contact with one of us. I definitely would love to help you discover who you are, because there should not be, this is the beginning of a year. And you should not be going into another year not knowing who you are and embracing the powerful individual that you are. Because there is nothing that's too small or unimportant to be worth consideration for yourself. So everything that's inside of you needs to be considered. Everything that's inside of you, you need to find out what it's worth, because you are a priceless individual. You are a jewel that I cannot put a price on, and you are very unique. There is not one other individual that is on God's green earth that is like you at all. You might be imitated, but you cannot be duplicated. So you have to understand that there is so
Nope.
much significance in you, and you're not an insignificant individual, because insignificant is basically something that's unimportant and isn't worth consideration. You definitely are worth it. And if you haven't realized that by now, follow that link at the bottom that's scrolling down here in our ticker, or utilize the link that's in the fields, and I promise you we'll get you right, because you need to understand and realize your value and your worth. Do not go another day in this year without appreciating and knowing exactly who you are. That's how we will deal with insignificance. Well, helping you to realize the significance that's inside of you, because there's greatness inside of you. You have to know it, appreciate it, you got to believe it, and walk in it. Yeah.
And that's so true. That is so true. Good morning, Cecilia. Thank you for joining us today. That's it, dealing with insignificance, and all of these things we talked about. You're dreaming of being a published author. Well, let's get it done. Let's finish strong, okay? Let's finish strong. Let's be intentional and get it done. Let's bring that book to life, author. Let's bring that book to life. Bring it to life. And both of those books are, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. My book is to help you get to know who you truly are. Who you truly are. And it has things in there to help you realize who you are, and to build you up where you may be torn down, to give you hope, to give you an easy win. And that book is called Unapologetically You, a 30-day transformation to winning, because you are a winner. You are a winner. And Tiffany's book is I Choose Me, right? I Choose Me. And it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So pick those books up, and it will make a whole lot of difference in your life in 2022. A grand difference in your life. Okay? So
Oh,
we want to
absolutely.
thank you for, taking time out of your busy schedule today, and being with us with these technical difficulties and everything else is going on. Okay, we're not quitters, we're winners. Okay, we're not quitters, we're winners. So this is how we have to deal with technology, so be it. But we're getting the message out there. Okay, so with that being said, follow us over to the Coach's Corner, we'll be there. But thank you and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow on another broadcast of Turning Your Passion into Profit. And remember this from Tiffany and I: this is your time, this is your season, this is your
Finish,
turning
yeah.
point. So have a great rest of your day.
Grace and peace, y'all.